Hello, this is Reverend Don Lewis coming to you from the beautiful metaverse, and more specifically from beautiful Danville, Illinois, homeland of the Corellian tradition. And this is Midday with Reverend Don. And as you know, if you follow Midday with Reverend Don, you can type your questions or comments into whatever platform you happen to be watching on. And for most of those platforms, they will show up here in my chat room. The chat room is on the screen because I don't have a guest today, and we can all share it. I thought today I would offer mini readings if anyone is interested, and otherwise, I don't know, probably talk about things that touch on reading and psychic work. And hello to Mary in the chat room. It's good to see you, Mary. And if anyone has any questions that deal with psychic issues, feel free to put those in the chat room. You know, I often talk about my various adventures as a psychic reader over the years. How years ago I read in the D&H psychic circuit in central Illinois, which was very heavily spiritualist. I later read with the J&M psychic circuit in northern Illinois, which was very heavily pagan, though not necessarily majority pagan. But I had some wonderful events there. Hello to Nikki in the chat room. It's good to see you, Nikki. And Nikki joins us from sunny Tulsa. And yeah, it was very interesting working with the psychic fairs. And one of the things that was interesting is that D&H was not necessarily a psychic fair every weekend, although during the season they were more frequent. J&M was at least one psychic fair pretty much every weekend of the year. Some weekends they had two, and always in different cities. So it involved a lot of travel and a lot of being in different places. And I have to say, my life in general has tended to follow that premise. A lot of travel that doesn't necessarily involve getting out to actually be able to see where you've traveled to, but you do meet people on location. I've been to a number of different countries and states, and hello to Renee in the chat room, and only occasionally been able to get outside of the event that I've come to do, but when I have, it's been quite enjoyable. And Renee would like a general reading, so let us shuffle the cards for Renee. And I do enjoy the fact that from this particular camera angle, you can actually see as I shuffle the cards. And we will presently draw 3 cards for Renee. We've had one escapee, which I shall rescue in a moment. And as you know, if you have seen me do this before, when we have an escapee, I always interpret that as meaning that they want to be in the reading so badly they have presented themselves for it. Now, let us draw 3 cards for Renee. So the cards I have drawn are the Ace of Swords, the 5 of Swords, and the 5 of Cups. And the escapee was the Queen of Wands. And hello to Reverend Michael in the chat room. And the Queen of Wands says that Renee will find herself basically in a perfectly satisfactory situation. She will have the things she needs to have. There will be overall a good situation, which is an important underlying to this question. But in the middle of all this, there is a decision of some sort that she has to make. Let me draw another card to see if it will give us any insight into what kind of decision. Well, it involves the Four of Wands, which is achievement and celebration. So a decision about something that involves um, happy, positive situations, and she'll have a lot of mixed feelings about this decision and won't be entirely happy with the result of it. However, against the back of that, we have a good, satisfactory situation. So what I would say is that if Renee is sitting on top of a decision right now, um, think carefully about it, and let's draw one more. Yeah, think carefully about it, and think about what you want to get from it, and manifest that before you actually make the decision. And I think it will go better. But for the most part, the situation requiring the decision is not the part of your life you'll be happiest with, though other parts are just fine. And there we go. Then Mary would like a reading on how she and Lucy will do vending at Cauldron Fest. So let us shuffle the cards for Mary and by proxy Lucy. And how will Mary and Lucy do vending at Cauldron Fest? And we shall once again draw 3 cards. And you may have a question, especially if you're not an experienced reader. How do you know how long to shuffle for? And the answer is there's a certain feeling that you get. I don't know that it's the same for everyone, but you get a certain feeling when you know you've done enough. For some people, it's just a knowing that you've hit the right place. Some people might feel it as a feeling in their hands. It could take many different forms, but you get a feeling that tells you when you've done enough, and you learn how to recognize that through practice. And the cards we've drawn are the Ace of Wands, the Eight of Wands, and the Princess of Lamps. So the Ace of Wands is passion and creativity and excitement and being really involved in what you're doing. The Eight of Wands says, be aware this will go faster than you anticipate, and you will feel definitely that you're moving at a quick pace. And the Princess of Lamps says, manifest, manifest, manifest. The Princess of Lamps is about using magic to obtain the things that you desire. And it says that, I would say this looks like an overall good situation, but make sure you're also bringing manifestation to it, and it will be even better. So there we go. Does anyone else have a question they would like to have a mini reading for? We shall see. But as I was saying, it's been very interesting having so many travels and only occasionally really getting to see the area. But there have been times when I have gotten to see the area, and that's always been very nice. And I have some very interesting memories. And Renee says, thank you, Lord Don. The reading was excellent. Thank you. And Mary says, thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you both. I'm glad you were happy. We'll never cease to talk about the kangaroo in Australia. And I got to see a number of interesting things in Australia when we went there for the Parliament of the World's Religions. When I went to the UK for illustration, we got to see a number of things, and got to go to an actual London pub. Got to stay at the Lily Langtree Hotel, which was an experience. Got to drive by Buckingham Palace. Got to go on a lovely riverboat for a tour. Lady Anna was our host. It was very nice. Got to try British pizza, which was surprisingly good. And in fact, I found all of the food surprisingly good, because you always hear about British food being very bland and not all that great, but I actually didn't find that at all. I found it quite excellent. And hello to Maggie in the chat room. It's good to see you, Maggie. And Maggie would like a reading about her Social Security. Yeah, let me do that. So I shall shuffle the cards for Maggie. The cards are very active today. I have yet another escapee. But yes, I found British food to be quite excellent. Granted, I was going to various eateries and so forth, and probably having the best that was available, but it was very good. And I was particularly surprised by the British pizza because it was one of the better pizzas I've had. I wasn't really expecting that. But generally speaking, everywhere I've gone, there's been good food, and I'm a great believer in the idea that people wouldn't be eating food if it wasn't good. And when I've had things I didn't like, I tend to make the assumption either they weren't really cooked well, or maybe it's an acquired taste. So let us draw 3 cards for Maggie and her Social Security. And of course, one of the major food memories was getting sushi from a hole in the wall in Australia, and it turned out to be the best sushi we'd ever had. And we were not expecting that because it really was not what you would call an impressive establishment. So we have drawn 4 of Wands. It was like fast food sushi, but for freshness and flavor, it was wonderful. 6 of Wands, 9 of Wands, and then the escapee was the Princess of Wands. So it's very interesting. The entire reading is all wand cards. So the Princess of Wands, who escaped from the deck, says that everything is more or less ready, except the timing. And it's saying to be patient, to allow things to take their shape. The 4 of Wands is happiness and celebration, so I'd say you're going to be very happy with the outcome. The 6 of Wands is victory, and again, you'll be happy with the outcome. And then we have the 9 of Wands, and the 9 of Wands is waiting. So what it's saying is that before you get the happiness, there's a little bit of waiting, but have faith and be patient, and it will come to you. So I would assume that you're waiting for a decision of some sort. I don't necessarily know because I don't really know the issue the reading is about, but whatever it is, the outcome will be positive, but you have to have some patience to wait for it. And there you go. I hope that has helped. And this afternoon, I am going through artwork, preparing for the May 9th Don Art auction. And we're hoping to have 30 to 40 pieces in that auction. And we will be working on that today. Some of them will be new original pieces. I think I've shown a couple here on the program. Others are going to be pieces that are in the morgue. There may be prints as well. We've talked about that. And we're in the process of putting these things together. Maggie says, are you already receiving Social Security? Just wondering about any issues. I do not become eligible until my birthday in June. I've been told I will be receiving it. But, I don't yet have any experience with that. I'm sure there are a lot of people who are concerned. And Yeah, all I can say is that in the reading that we did, um, the answer was um, be patient and things will work out. And hello to Leo in the chat room. It's good to see you, Leo. And Leo would like a general reading. So let me take a moment to cleanse the cards, and then we shall draw some cards for Leo. And once again, I find myself picking up cards, which is rather unusual. Um, and Maggie says, thank you, Maggie. And we shall draw 3 cards for Leo. Now, you just saw me shuffling cards. But once again, we have our first card, the now very familiar 4 of Wands. It's followed by the Future card and the High Priestess card. So the 4 of Wands says that Leo is, or shortly will be, in a position of celebration, communal celebration, not only himself, but um, surrounded by good things. A good, happy, positive situation. With it is the Future card. The Future card basically says, spread your wings and fly. Take the chance you want to take. Do the thing that you want to do, but also use your common sense. And the Future card is based on the myth of Daedalus and Icarus. And if you are familiar with that myth, they both flew into the sky on artificial wings, and Daedalus flew to safety on the shore, and Icarus fell into the ocean because he went too close to the sun. What this means is that you can absolutely take that chance you want to take and make it safely to the shore. Just make sure that you're taking it reasonably as you do it. And then we have the High Priestess, which is being open to spiritual guidance. And it says that as you do those things that you're wanting to do, so you take that chance that is either already on the horizon or coming up before you, stay in touch with your higher self, stay in touch with spirit, and follow the guidance that you receive. I'm going to draw one more card. And I've drawn the Empress. And the Empress says the outcome of all of this is going to be very positive. And so I would say you should find yourself in a positive situation, moving into still more positive situations. Trust your instincts, take the chances that you feel you need to take, and just use good judgment with them, which you most likely will do anyway. And there you go. I hope you find that helpful. And next week, I'm going to be preparing for Illustration, which is going to be in Philadelphia this year. Some of the people in the chat room will be there with us. I'm looking forward to seeing Mary and all the people that we see at Illustration, and to having a wonderful time. But I also am going to be taking the week off from Midday with Rev Don, and all week long I will be having co-hosts, or guest hosts rather. And these will include Reverend Phoenix, who has been regularly guest hosting for Fridays. It will include, and Leo says, excellent, thank you, Leo. Reverends Tim and Diana Straube will be doing one day. Reverend Jason Highcorrell will be doing another day. Chris Copeland will be doing a day. And So there will be a range of guest hosts next week dealing with a variety of interesting subjects. Chris is going to be talking about the Stonehenge of the Netherlands, and that will be quite interesting. So I hope that you will join us for all of that. I'm kind of interested in seeing uh, how they all do. Does anyone else want a mini reading while we're here? Um, I am going to, if no one else is asking for a reading, I'm going to do a general reading for the next 6 months for society as a whole. And presently I shall draw 3 cards, and we will see what comes up. And for our general reading for society over the next 6 months, the first card we have is the Magos. And the Magos basically is about working your will in the world. It says focus on what you want, not what you fear, not what might be, but what you wish to be. And like the magician, bring it into being. With it is the heart, and the heart says that it's important to be heart-centered at this time, to focus on what we truly want, what we truly feel, not to ignore our feelings. And then the Four of Cups, which says, yeah, everything will be not everything that we want, but better than we may be recognizing. And I find that interesting, given everything that's happening in society at the moment. But I'm seeing a lot of readers coming up with similar answers, saying that things aren't necessarily headed in quite the places that they appear to be headed. And that will be interesting to see that play out. But then life is always interesting. And Maggie would like a reading about being overwhelmed in guiding her kids and grandchildren. So let us do another reading from Maggie. Mary says that's a very positive reading, all things considered. Yes, it is. It really is, because I can't say that things look positive. But, focusing on what you desire and bringing it into being is always good advice. And hello to Judy in the chat room. It's good to see you, Judy. And once again, we have cards jumping out of the deck. Today is just the day for that. Our first card is the Princess of Coins, followed by the Ten of Wands, followed by the Fool. And the Princess of Coins, it says that you may be holding back from things that you want to do. You may feel like you know what you should do, or what you want to do, or what you need to do, yet you're holding back from it. Don't do that. Go ahead and take the action. The Ten of Wands says, well, yeah, that's all well and good, but things are going to take their time to fall into place. So you have to have a certain amount of patience with it, but they're about to change. And the things that you're hoping to see happen are on the edge of happening. So take the actions that you see you need to take, have a little patience in letting them take their effect, but the change you desire to see is coming. And the Fool basically says that you can have what you want here. You need to focus on what it is you desire to see. And if you do that, you can certainly bring it to pass. The Fool represents the chaos moment when all things are possible. And you have to choose and direct yourself toward the one you want. And there you go. And hello to Megan Marie in the chat room. And both Judy and Megan Marie have asked for readings, but unfortunately we are out of time. And I do not have time for another reading today, but tomorrow night will be Tarot Thursday. Reverend Mary does Tarot Thursday every week, and you can join her for mini readings like this and and you can ask your questions there and get answers. I imagine she will be joined by Reverend Brian, but it can be different people in different weeks. So I encourage you to go there. And I thank you for joining me today. And we are at the end of our half hour, so I want to take a moment for a word from our sponsors. Hello, this is Reverend Don Lewis coming to you from the beautiful metaverse, and I would like to invite you to my Don Art showing and auction on Friday, May 9th, with original pieces and prints of my artwork and other interesting items, with the auction at 5 p.m. on Whatnot. And please stay tuned for more announcements and examples of art that will be coming. Thank you. And thank you to our sponsors, Equinox Learning Hub and the Don Art May 9th auction. And thank you for joining me. I hope you've enjoyed the program. Mary tells us that Reverend Brian is hosting Tarot Thursday this week. And Maggie says, thank you again, dear Reverend Don. I'm going to try to come down to Danville to see you before illustration. That will be lovely. And thank you, everyone, for joining us. And we will be back tomorrow. And with that, let us close with our prayer, as we always do. And Divine Mother Goddess, Divine Father God, beloved ancestors, we thank you for all that you do for us in our lives, and we rejoice in this walk we walk together. And we ask you to help us to stay focused on the spiritual walk that we follow, to help us to be guided by the wisdom of the higher powers, and to help us to be sensitive to the nature of the world around us, and to take the good that it offers and go forward to do the next right thing at all times. Beloved Mother Goddess, beloved Father God, beloved ancestors, we thank you with great love, and knowing you are always with us from respect, we thank you for your presence. May you be blessed now and always. May you be blessed now and always, and we'll see you again